going on, guys? Alex back with another YouTube video. I have the Radix community here with Eli. We're going to be talking about some updates to Radix. What are they doing? What's going on? Haven't talked about them in a while, so why don't you introduce yourself, Eli?
Hey everyone. My name is Eli. Alex, thanks for having us. And yes, I am the founder of Eli Coin and a Radix enthusiast. In fact, some would say a Radix fanatic, although Radvocate is the term we prefer.
Not radical, Radvocate?
You know, there's some interesting connotations around the word radical these days, so we go with Radvocate.
All right, I like it, man. So, you know, when I first looked into it, it's a smart contract platform, right? But it seems like you guys got much more going on. So why don't you explain a little bit of like the recent developments?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, you're spot on. Radix is a smart contract platform. And what's got me so excited about Radix is that the consensus mechanism underlying it actually will allow for the scale of the world. So when we think about onboarding the next billion users to the world of crypto, Web3, DeFi, Radix really is the solution because it scales. So as far as what's new, a few months ago, they released Scripto, which is the new dev language. And that's going to basically allow all of the devs who are interested in Radix to build this rich new ecosystem so that at the end of the year, when the mainnet's fully live, we're going to have this wonderful place for people to come, play with AMMs, like OC Swap is here. They're a great AMM. There are lots of great NFT projects. So I guess the newest developments are that Scripto recently was released so the devs can start building these actual dApps. And then there's also just lots of new projects that are coming to Radix right now.
All right, a lot of big words there, so I'm gonna try to break it down for you guys. So what he means by consensus mechanism is basically like proof of work, proof of stake. What are you guys using?
Yeah, so Radix is a proof of stake network around validators. We have actually developed our own novel DLT technology. So I think about it like squares and rectangles, right? A lot of people think it's blockchain or bust, and they're wrong. So blockchain is just one type of distributed ledger technology, right? There's other ones like DAGs are very popular. That's like what Phantom is. But Radix has actually developed their own novel consensus mechanism called Cerberus. And so that's what really is the magic behind all this that will allow the scale that we need.
Is it centralized?
No, it will be fully decentralized when the time comes. Right now, we're in the early stages of launching it, so it's not fully decentralized. But no, look, this is how much time you got. Not to knock on centralized projects like Phantom and Solana, which are a critical part of onboarding the next billion users, because UI and UX is what's going to solve the problems, not decentralization. I'll get off my soapbox. Radix ultimately will be decentralized because that's what matters. That's what really matters about taking out those centralized entities.
I love it, man. So you said a lot of things. You said you were going to come out with an automated market maker. Is that already out, or what's going on there?
Yeah, great question. So right now, because smart contracts aren't fully live, you can't access these dApps. You can go and download Scripto, which is the Radix language, which is built off of Rust. So very easy to get accustomed to, way better than Solidity, particularly because it's an asset-based language. So you don't need to spend all this time just defining what tokens are. I like to think about it like what game engines did, like Unity and Unreal Engine, what they did for the gaming industry. Now we don't need to have PhDs in physics. We can just build some cool freaking games. And so that's what's happening with Radix, is that we're basically in this place right now with Scripto where nothing's fully live, but the devs are building and it's easier for them to build.
And when is the actual smart contracts, when are they going to start to roll out?
Yeah, great question. So if you look at our roadmap right here behind me, you'll see that by the end of the year, it should be fully live. Now, look, when people start talking about years of research and this and that, we all start thinking about Cardano and peer-reviewed papers. No shots fired. Just kidding. Shots fired. So what I really love about Radix, because my background is go-to-market and business development, and they've had this roadmap out for several years, and they're actually really good at hitting their points and actually hitting the releases. So from a product development perspective, I really appreciate their approach to, hey, let's actually get this testnet up live. Okay, now let's launch Scripto and have this dev ecosystem there so that when it does fully go live, there's actually this ecosystem for people to play with, like these AMMs, again, like our friends at OC Swap who are here, who I have to shout out. And then Eli Coin, the first communal philanthropic rug pull in the world.
He called it a rug pull too.
A communal philanthropic rug pull. CPR, give the earth CPR.
That's hilarious. All right, so do you have like a really good developer incentive program? Because I know, like Phantom really succeeded with that. Do you guys have some type of incentive program?
Yeah, so I'm not quite as familiar with our developer incentive program, so I don't really have a good answer on that. I can get a better answer and get back to you.
All right, we'll do another interview. If you guys leave some comments below, if we get, 500 comments, we'll do another Radix interview or whatever the case is. So I love it, man. You got, smart contracts coming out at the end of the year. You got Rust. You have the automated market makers. What are you going to do to capture the trend? I mean, not you, but like, what is Radix going to do to capture the next latest and greatest trend? Are you guys doing NFTs? What's going on there?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so when you say capture the next, like basically how does Radix grow from here?
Yeah, like users and user adoption.
Yeah, and I think that's the name of the game, right? And so that's what, to go back to what I said earlier, it comes down to the UI, it comes down to the UX, and it comes down to that roadmap of how we're going to bring Radix users on board. So everyone who's here right now is part of the Radix community. This is not the official Radix Foundation here. So I think this is a great microcosm or great testament of the fact that the community is coming together to really push this forward.
Yeah.
So we've got events going on all around the world, all around the globe. We had one in DC this past week. There's a meetup with our new CMO in New York on May 1st. We have events regularly in London. I know there's some in Portugal, some in Singapore as well. So there's just the general marketing effort that's happening. And then, you know, at the risk of sounding like a complete like zealot, once the technology is live and people actually play with it themselves, I believe that will really drive a lot of this positive cycle. Think about how people were drawn to Solana and Phantom, right? It doesn't stand up to the decentralization scrutiny, but it feels good to play with.
Yeah.
You can just go on Solana. Solana's better with NFTs, I think, in gaming. Go on Solana, do a bunch of transactions that cost you like $1.
Yeah.
Same thing with Phantom, right? Go do all the DeFi stuff you want on Phantom, and it's gonna cost you a couple dollars in fees. And so that's what's really exciting to me about Radix is that the fee structure is built the same way because it scales. So people will be able to experiment and play around, and then the tech is there too. So when you actually put this tech in front of the most diehard decentralization fanatics, they're the ones saying, oh, this is actually a better system. This is actually, because again, that's why I pointed at the camera and said it's not blockchain or bust.
Yeah.
So many people are thinking it has to be a blockchain. And I love L2s, but L2s exist to fix fundamental flaws in Ethereum. Radix does not have L2s because it does not have those fundamental flaws. And again, I know we're supposed to be talking about Radix. I'm shilling pretty hard right now. I apologize, folks. Do your own research at home, but you can't unsee Lightning. And, you know, I've been in the crypto space for 5 or 6 years, and the deeper I dive into Radix, the more I learn. And there are lots of other great products too, and other projects too. I like ETH, I like Avalanche. I'm a big Bitcoin guy too, but like Radix to me is the most interesting smart contract platform that I've seen.
Yeah, you get to keep the decentralization factor, which I always talk about in my videos and stuff like that. I love that.
Right.
Just a quick question before we clock out here. MetaMask integration?
It's coming because it's coming.
When the smart contracts are going to have the MetaMask, that's because that's really big, right?
Yeah, and so that's outside of my purview of authority, but I assure you that it's coming. And then I forgot to say this: Radix has solved the trilemma. So if we're talking about scalability, we're talking about decentralization and security. That trilemma, no more an issue.
This is the best pitch I've had for a smart contract platform in a long time. I like it. Thank you, Eli. I appreciate you.
It's a pleasure, man.
All right, man. Catch you guys in the next video. If you don't get with it, you will get left behind. Catch you guys later.